Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and welcome back from the UCL DraftKings DFS Slate breakdown. What is it? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven gamer. Every game is minus odds. That's kind of like the new theme of this expanded UCL format with a lot more quote unquote weaker teams in, like Slovan against Girona, like Shakhtar against Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, the biggest favorite at minus 1,000 in Champions League, which is crazy. Like you don't see that. You didn't really see that under the old format, but that's just what we live in now. I'm never going to complain about more games. In terms of set pieces, let's go team by team. For Sturmgratz, it should be Boving. If Horvat is in, he will have priority over Boving. For Sporting, it should be mostly Nuno Santos. There's a chance that Gaetano or maybe even Trincao have or even Quenda have a small share, but it's mostly Nuno Santos. Arsenal Shakhtar. Now, Arsenal are a little bit weird unless Saka somehow magically recovers and ends up starting. Otherwise, in this team, it'll be one of two things. Either race Monopoly like it was against Bournemouth over the weekend, although they didn't have a ton of set pieces because of that early red card, or potentially a Zinchenko split he takes for Ukraine. He just has not played at all for Arsenal. And when he has, Saka has always been there to be the set piece guy. But like I wouldn't be surprised at all if Arsenal want to keep their like kind of in swing thing they do. Zinchenko would be the left footed option, I imagine. Maybe Marino could do that role too, but it's a bit of a big body. Like he's tall. Like I imagine they want him in there to head in corners rather than be the one to take them. For Ukraine, should be mostly Sudakov, maybe Zubkov takes a thing or two, but I am not expecting many set pieces here for them. Aston Villa and Bologna, it should be Tielemans splitting with either Digne or McGinn or Bailey if he's in. For Bologna, I expect it to be Moro and Miranda or Lykogiannis if he ends up starting at left back. Or Salini used to be the set piece guy, but kind of forsaken that role lately. Carlson maybe has a chance of taking something too, but my lean is definitely Miranda and Moro. For Girona, with Sigankov out, Danjuma's kind of become the monopoly man. And he's been not efficient at all with his corners, so I worry a tiny bit that they just switch it up considering how kind of ineffective his set piece taking has been. I think he had like 8 crosses in their last league game, and like one that was accurate, which is really poor. But if 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 they continue what they've been doing, it should be Danjuma Monopoly. And for Slovan, Bratislava, I expect it to be mostly Tolic with maybe a little bit of Barshegian or Vise splitting. For Juventus v Stuttgart, in this team, I think it'll probably be a Fagioli and Cambiaso split. If we see Douglas Luiz in here, there's a chance that he'd end up having Fagioli's share, or maybe not. Like I think it's a little bit more murky if that's the case. And for Stuttgart, I think it will be in this lineup mostly Diller, maybe Mio, maybe Middlestat. They're just a mess. Like I feel like Middlestat took most recently, but Stenzel's taken a little bit too. They're a bit of a mess for set pieces. PSG, PSV, it should be in this team and Usman Dembele, potential monopoly. There's a chance that Asensio splits. If Lee Kang-in is in, he should be the like main set piece guy, with maybe Dembele taking one or two, but Lee Kang-in's the main guy if he's in. I kind of just hope he isn't because that'd make Dembele a 10 times better play. But that's just something to look at when lineups come in. And for PSV, it should be Bakayoko and Tillman splitting. Maybe Lang takes one or two as well. Joey Bierman is still injured, they have for him. So, yeah, like he'd be the main guy when in, but otherwise, Bakayoko, Tillman, maybe Lang. For Real Madrid Dortmund, still no Luka Modric in projected. I don't think he's injured or anything. He didn't play last league game. So it surprises me a little bit that they don't have him starting. But if it's this projected lineup, it should be mostly Rodrigo. Lucas Vazquez had sets over the weekend, but I don't think that he'll have priority over Rodrigo, who I want to say didn't play. Now I'm a little unsure and I can't remember. I have to check. But I'm pretty sure Rodrigo should be their set piece taker. And just can't be bothered looking. When I do actual core and stuff on the FSI Discord, I'll make sure for sure. I just forgot to check, but I'm pretty sure it'll be Rodrigo. Unless Modric is in, then it should be Modric. For Dortmund, it is really interesting they don't have Gross. I guess he's dealing with a slight knock, I heard, after he got subbed over the weekend. When he's not in, it should be a Brandt monopoly. Prices. Mbappe is most expensive. No surprise there. He's not been great in UCL this time around. He was dealing with that illness or whatever against Lille and didn't start. Definitely got there against Stuttgart. Dortmund, I think, is a little bit of a tougher matchup. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to put up those Stuttgart numbers, but he's still definitely in play, as always, just because of who he is. Saka would be a lock if he starts. Everything's kind of leading towards him not playing, which is that. Vinny Jr., of course, in play. Ousmane Dembele, if there's no Lee Kang in, I think he's super, super tempting. I think he takes so many shots, takes so many crosses when he has set pieces. Love Ousmane Dembele. Gyökeres is a great player, but I think he's a little expensive here. Danjuma. Now, I think Danjuma is tempting. I was perusing anytime goal scorer odds, and he was like minus odds with set pieces too. I think Danjuma's super in play. Like forward's pretty stacked this week. Rodrigo. If there's no Modric, he's tempting. All these guys are tempting really. Forward's going to be a tough decision on this slate. Jesus is underpriced, it feels like. Same with Trossard. The Arsenal guys, I think, are going to be super in play as well. It's kind of balancing out your not as favored, better set pieced, expensive payups versus like your cheaper Arsenal guys who probably have less guaranteed minutes, less guaranteed, like definitely don't have set piece roles, frankly, if it's like these cheap guys. But they have best matchup. So that's kind of the debate there. It's better matchup and cheaper versus better mins and better role in their team, we'll say. So yeah, Trossard, super tempting. Sterling, super tempting. Jesus, super tempting. Like any of those Arsenal attackers who are sub 8K. I think Martinelli was super cheap too. I think he'd be my favorite if he's in. I'd be super tempted to play Martinelli for 6K. He's cheaper than all the other Arsenal guys who are all underpriced in themselves. And then I wouldn't go that much lower than that because I think there's so many just super nice forwards, not for that much. And like there's not really a ton of punts that I'm seeing that super interest me. Trincao is maybe the only one I'd consider at 5K. But even then, I just feel like I'd rather get up to an Arsenal player. Wait, how much was Miovski? I wanted to see the 7K. Yeah, I'd rather go an Arsenal guy probably in cash at least. Midfielders, Kai Havertz. I think he has the best goal scoring odds on the slate. I just wish he was as cheap as like your Trossards and Martinellis. 9K feels expensive, but he's definitely in play for me. Even for this much. Most expensive mid. I think he's super in play. Leaking in, I'm just never love, really. Declan Rice. If there's no Zinchenko, we can kind of guarantee a Declan Rice monopoly, which would be just no Zinchenko, no Saka. I really like Rice a lot here. 7,900, 4 monopolies at Peace Taker on a minus 1,000 favorite. Just love all that. Guaranteed 90 minutes. I'm super, super intrigued by that. Even if Zinchenko is in, might just gamble and play him anyway, just in case. Like worst case scenario, getting a splitting set piece taker on the biggest favorite on the slate. 3,900 maybe is a little, I don't want to say pricey, but more fair than it is for the other Arsenal guys who are mostly underpriced. But I like Declan Rice a lot. Jude Bellingham feels cheap too. I don't mind that. Marino seems too much to me. Tielemans, this one thing has the upside. Modric, I'd be tempted to buy too if he's in. And the rest of these guys I'm kind of met on. The one guy though that I'm pretty tempted by is Nuno Santos at 5K. This guy gets a ton of crosses, even like open play, not just from set pieces. Left wing back. I could get behind Nuno Santos for sure with that matchup. I don't know Gula if he's somehow in. I'd love that. He'd probably be a lock at 4,700, but I just don't really see a world where he plays. And then after that, looking at Tolich, I think is all right too. I know it's a tough matchup, but didn't even do that bad against Man City, and Girona are no Man City, despite being owned by the same guys. Oving, I think, is all right. I played him whatever. I think it was an early Champions League slate this Brugge game was on, or maybe it wasn't. I think it was on a main slate, but he just was not great. But I'd still be tempted to go back to the well again. Douglas Luiz, 3K, super cheap. I'm super tempted by that. There's one other 32 guy. Yeah, and Nwaneri, he took a set piece when he came on for Arsenal. I'd love if they gave him a chance. He'd be like a stone walk, set piece splitting 3K midfielder on Arsenal. Like I'd love that. I really hope he plays. That'd be amazing. He's super talented too. Like this guy's a limit for him. So just a great play if he's in. I think there's probably like a 1% chance, but if Arteta gives him a run, I'd love that. More up for 3K, I don't think is bad either. That's another set piece taker for Stone Min. Defenders, Hakimi. Hakimi's too cheap for me. He's probably a core play. He just gets there. Like he doesn't offer a ton of crosses usually, like your traditional DFS kind of DraftKings points, but he just gets like a few shots, few key passes, few crosses. Next thing you know, he's got like 15 floor, gets a ton of goal contributions as well. So Hakimi's a lock for me. And on a slate with kind of not a strong amount of set piece taking defenders. Like I know there's Digne potentially, but I never loved him. Zinchenko, I think is maybe worth the risk, but 5K is like not that much of a bargain. But even then, like I don't mind Zinchenko. Gutierrez, I think, is a super solid DFS player. I don't mind that. Middlestad, I don't think he's horrible. I just think he's a little pricey. I'm still definitely not off of him either. And then looking for other stuff I like here. Not a ton. After you go Hakimi, you only got like one other slot, remember? So just picking one guy is like not doesn't give you a ton of options to really play many of these guys. But like an Arnau Martinez, if he starts at right wing back, I think is fine. And then anyone else down? Oh wait, I definitely missed someone I want to talk about. Yeah, Cambiaso. If he starts on the wing with set pieces, I think that's super tempting as well. That'd probably be my second favorite defender option for price. And there's one other guy I wanted to pick out, and that is oh, there's Savona too, who I don't mind either, but that's not who I was looking for. It was where is he? I know he's around here. Miranda, 2,900 set piece taking defender if he starts over the Giannis. I think that's a super nice bargain play. So I like him a lot as well, despite the pretty tough matchup against Aston Villa. But yeah, those are the kind of guys I'm looking at here. GPP, mix and match them for cash. Just, of course, try to find a build that works. It's a hard slate for a core just because there's so many ways you can go and a lot of pretty decent options, especially forward, like we talked about. But I'm going Hakimi in core. And then it's hard to commit to a forward. I think I likely just go Rice. Ugh, even then, though, like I don't love that unless there's no Zinchenko. Uh, you know what? I'd probably go Hakimi. I'd probably go Cambiazo, honestly. And then what? I think either Trossard or Martinelli. I don't think you can really end up being able to afford all of the studs or like two. Maybe you can cram two of them. It's so hard, but I think I'd probably do that for a core for now. I definitely have some flexibility on that, and I might change come posting the core in the FSI Discord, which you can find through the website linked below. But yeah, guys, those are kind of my thoughts, and good luck, and I'll see you for the next video. Peace.